All right, it is 3 o'clock. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. This is a RingCentral centric training today for the first. I think it's the first one, Carrie, the first third at 3. Yep. So we were calling it third and third at 3 today, but it's just third at 3 today. So very first one, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. We are going to keep today as more of an open forum. I know most of you have logged into RingCentral and played around, so I'm hoping after our RSC huddle this morning that we put out a reminder for today's topic. If you have any questions, write them down so we can cover them on today's training. So I'll just do a very quick login and a call queue management explanation, which was requested this morning, and then we can open it up for some questions and delve on in. So I'm going to log out real quick so everyone sees the login screen. If there's anybody new or hasn't signed in before, we want to make sure we are seeing the Spectrum logo here, not just the RingCentral. If you don't see Spectrum, you are in the wrong portal. So you want to make sure you click that link that Paul so kindly sent out a bunch of times during the migration. If not, we can send it out again in a reminder. But make sure you see that Spectrum link, and it is by your company email. So you want to make sure you have your email there, not your phone number if you're used to putting your phone number or extension. And once you get in, I know my password, I swear. Once you get in, you are going to see a screen that looks similar to this. It might default to my extension up here. And what I wanted to cover today, which was a great point, which is call queue management explanations. So with the new system that we migrated to, we put every office, if not the majority of the offices, on a call queue. And Paul, I'm going to let you, if you're on here, to add on to this explanation that I have in my head. But the call queue is set so we can have call queue managers. And what's really nice about that is in Schmidt, you know, we are all about cross-training. We're all about coverage. We're all about collaboration. So we are a team here. And now with the Spectrum account, we have the ability to be call queue managers. And what that means is when you're a call queue manager, you're able to jump in as needed, help manage a call queue of another office that is not normally yours or that you sit in, or you can manage multiple offices at any time. So we did try to give all of the RSCs access to be able to manage their region's call queues. So what that means is up here, it sometimes defaults to my extension. So bear with me, it defaults differently for different people. You might see admin portal, depending on your access, you might see my extension, but you want to make sure you're in call queue management 99% of the time. That is how we have the offices set up for their main number calls that are advertised. So if you have a main number anywhere in Google, of course, that's going to go through the call queue. And the call queues that we set up, which we granted you manager access of, consist of the ability to control that office at a very molecular level, if that makes sense. So you can adjust the rings like you used to, but to a bigger, just a bigger play arena, if that makes sense. So now you can do multiple offices. You don't have to log out of this account and log into this office account in RingCentral to be able to manage it. Now you can just manage it if you're a call queue manager, if that makes sense. Paul, did I miss anything on that?
No, that's pretty spot on. It's really helpful to use call queue management when we're managing multiple offices, or if you help oversee one of those, it just makes life so much easier.
Yeah, it is really nice. There's really only been pros to it so far, but it is a newer system. A lot of it is still the same, but there are some newer nuances about it that we're not all entirely used to, myself included. So it is a little bit newer. It looks a little bit different, mostly the same, but a little bit different. And I know that can be a little overwhelming or tricky or confusing at times. So I'm going to walk you through a call queue management setting of what you see as an ASC or RSC controlling a call queue for your office. So once you get logged into RingCentral, you want to make sure you're in this call queue management. If you are in My Extension, that only controls your physical phone at the front desk. It does not control the main number calls that come into the office. So your number, your physical phone itself will have what we call like a back-end DID or back-end direct number. And that's how we get a hold of you directly. But as far as the main office number, that will be set up as a call queue. And that's so we can manipulate and manage multiple phones to ring at multiple times and have that remote access to be able to cover multiple offices within one account. So you want to make sure you're in call queue management. And once you're here, depending on how many offices you're a call queue manager of, you'll see this drop down. And we are going to play around in Sebastian today. So in their sales office, we're going to toggle over here. Most of the time, you are going to be in settings for what you're using. So you would come over to the settings tab. And this is pretty similar to what you're used to in RingCentral from at least what I can remember. And then once you're in settings, you can look at the call queue details. There's not too much to change here. You can see numbers affiliated and look at the greeting. Sebastian is a little bit different. I probably shouldn't use that as an example because they have a phone tree, but we could still look at the call handling. That's the same company-wide. So call handling and members is what you will be in the vast majority of the time. If I am correct, of course. There's lots you can do in here. This is where you manipulate the phone to ring a certain amount of times or to forward it to another office should that office be closed. So we've had this happen a lot. This has been a more frequent topic, I would say. So I will say Paul and I set up most offices to be 24/7. However, there were some exceptions for that, of course, depending on how your office operates. They are not all the same, and I totally understand that, but majority of them will be 24/7. And depending on manager answering the phone or floor agent answering the phone after hours and on floor time, depending on how that is in your office, that will dictate the hours in RingCentral. But most of them are 24/7. And here you can see in Sebastian, we have the front desk and the wireless or portable that we like to call it ringing at the same time. When unanswered is wait settings. You can see that after those calls are run to Sebastian, it's going to try for Sebastian again. Depending on the office, sometimes it'll try a manager, or sometimes it'll roll to another office, depending on your office's location or staff coverage and factors of that nature. And then you can set up custom rules here, which is definitely very common throughout the company. If you have a floor schedule that's standardized to your office, and you can add really cool custom rules here that are so specific down to the hour, down to the day. You can pre-program your phone to do certain things a week ahead of time if you have a weekly floor schedule, or you could even put the years of holidays in here for 2026 if you wanted to set up the holiday schedule. So there's that option there for custom rules. And then you can see where your voicemails are going as far as notifications. So this is something that's really good to check too if you want to make sure your notifications are going to the right person. So this office has all of their notifications going to Seb, the Sebastian office at cbparadise.com, as well as the RSC. So just some things to check in there. But that is the gist of your call queue management settings that you'll be in most of the time. But as I stated, this is really an open forum training. I'm ready for all of your questions. We don't know if I'll have all the answers today, but we're going to try. So does anybody have a first question? I don't know if there's anything in the chat. Let me see.
Jeannie raised her hand. Jeannie, do you have a question?
Thanks, Harry.
Yes, please. Kelly.
Yes, ma'am.
My portable still is not ringing when my main phone is ringing. So they're not they're not ringing at the same time.
So, and this is a great point. I'm so sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. This has come up a few times. This is different from our last system, and it hasn't come up on a training so far, I think, but I know like Sharon and I were just chatting about it today with World Golf Village. Christine will answer your question right after. So we set up the phones to ring by default, really, when staff to staff calls you. So for example, if Sharon goes to call you, Jeannie, and she calls your direct extension, only your phone is going to ring. Same as like if I want to get a hold of you and I want to talk to you, it's not going to ring the other portable or the floor desk. If you have a floor desk phone, it's just going to ring your phone directly. So in World Golf Village just came up as a perfect example. Everyone goes to answer the portable phone and they're like, well, the portable's not ringing. Well, the portable wasn't called. And we did change some settings there. And if you prefer your phones to always ring whenever somebody calls the front desk, we can make that happen, of course. And you can even make that happen too in your settings. But that is technically new and different that I don't think everyone's used to. But Jeannie, you have another layer of genuity. Is that the right word on your office? You had a very old historic number that we tried to maintain.
Yeah.
I don't have it memorized, but it's not the advertised one. It's an even older number that might be
2521, 2521.
Yes. Yep. Whatever's not the main number, but that older number, we set that up to be the portable direct number. I can go in and I can make that portable at any time the portable is called directly, which is not going to be often company wide because nobody has portable direct numbers, but because we saved that direct line and set up your portable with one, I can make it so anytime it rings, it also rings the front desk phone. So I can do that really quickly.
That would be wonderful because with my foot and hearing the desk phone ring and I'm in the back and then going, oh no, the portable's not ringing. So I've got to hobble up here. And by the time I get here, they've already hung up.
We don't want you hobbling. I can fix that. And really quickly, while we are covering, and this shouldn't happen in any other part of the company, I don't think, but because we were trying to save that older historic number, we just tied it to the portable. And when it is rarely called, if it is, the front desk won't ring and vice versa. So if somebody calls your direct number to get a hold of you, the portable doesn't ring. But we do have the option there to make it ring no matter what. So
I would like that to be.
It's already taken care of, Jeannie. I just programmed
Paul, you're
it.
the best.
Oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. I also have another one, if I may.
Let's go.
Texting through the Ring Central app. I know you said it, you have me as able to, but I can't find it. I can't. And
I might have to get with you off the call because I might need to share screen with you. I can't demo that because I don't have a call queue set up in my app, if that makes sense. Now, we did test it with Reset Gulf Cove, and here's what it will look like. And I'm so sorry I can't share my screen to be able to show you. But if you go into your desktop app, I'll show you in theory if that makes sense.
You could also show them the desktop app through the web browser.
Yep.
Yep, perfect.
Oh, I can show you. It just won't show anything in here. So in your desktop app,
that's what I'm using.
Okay, so this is the desktop app. You can see it doesn't have a URL bar here. That's the cloud-based version. And they do have different mannerisms. They're not totally uniform. So there's the portal that I was just in, which is through Spectrum. There's that, and then there's a cloud version of this app. I just like to use the downloadable one that's a real app on the computer. So there's really 3 different ways you can log into Ring Central. When you are texting, this is a little bit different than what you're used to. You will see call queue here when you go to text. I won't have anything yet because I don't have a call queue main number tied to my account. But if you did reach out and you want your main number to be able to text, we wanted that main number to be registered to be able to send and receive. So that's what we registered you as. It would be your main advertised number. When you go to log into your app, a lot of people are used to this where it defaults right here. You want to make sure you're toggled over to call queue, and that's where you'll see your text going forward. It won't be direct because that's not what we set up to be able to text. And we did confirm that does work. We sent text test text to it and watch them come in, sent out. It sends out as the main number. But just make sure you're checking this area right here and toggling over to that in the call queue. You do want to make sure, because this has happened, if you've logged into any other account for any reason, you want to make sure you're in the right account. So you want to make sure you're logged into Veteran Sales, for example, or the beach office, or Sebastian, or for Traverse City if you want to see that call queue, depending upon if you let us know to register that. Paul, did I miss anything on that?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Okay.
Definitely.
So Jeannie, if you don't have that call queue tab or it's not working, let's share screen after the call and we can troubleshoot that.
Okay. All right, great.
And then I saw there was one more question.
Kimberly, then Sherry.
Yep, and the directory. So perfect, great question. In our directory, I'll show you there's 2 places for it. We have contacts here, and you can search anybody. So if I wanted to find Lynn's extension, I would type in Lynn up at the top, and I can see her extension right here is 2908. Or if I want to call the help desk, I would search help desk or Paul, and there's 5971. And it also goes for agent extensions too. If you want to check one of the new agent extensions, those are emailed out. Thanks to Haley, who's awesome in onboarding all of our new agent extensions. But if you want to check if an agent extension is in here, you can search anybody. Here's Bill Miller, for example, or all the different Millers in the company. You'll see them as company contacts that were entered at a company level. So they're all searchable, and then their extensions next to it. And I can show you as well in the portal, whenever you're in here, if you go to contacts, there's company and personal here. So depending on your preference for how you like to utilize RingCentral, you can look up here as well. So same thing if you search somebody, if you spell correctly. There's Lynn. So that's the directory. And then Sherry, did you have a question?
I think Kimberly.
Kimberly, thank you, Sharon. Kimberly, what was your question?
Yeah, so I used to get the voicemail messages as an email every day. I don't get those anymore. I wondered if we are slower. That could be it. But when I look at the voicemail button here, it says send voicemail to this extension, which is the 90024. Is that correct?
Yep. So, and that extension will show as your call queue extension, and those extensions you're not used to, and you don't have to have that memorized at all. That's just how the call queue is set up. Call queues have to have an extension number. So you'll see that it mostly starts in a 9, and I believe they're all 5 digits. But the voicemail should be being emailed to you with an attachment like they used to.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any of those. It could be nobody's calling. I don't know, but I don't get those anymore.
Okay, I'm checking on that right now for you.
Okay.
And with that, if somebody calls you directly and leaves a voicemail on your phone, it's going to be left at your phone level. But call queues, you do need to be in call queue management to be able to access those voicemails. Because if somebody calls the main advertised number, it's left at the call queue level, which will be in that call queue management toggle whenever you log into RingCentral. I'm checking Christine. And then were there any other questions? I feel like there should be so many, but I guess it's a good thing if there's not that many. Christine, do you have a question?
I did. I meant earlier about the directory. I meant if a caller calls outside of work hours and they get the voicemail, is there an option for callers to use a spell by name directory to find a specific agent?
Not at this time. No, there's not. They can utilize Coldwell Banker or any of our websites though. So those there's that
I'll change the
directory.
voicemail to tell them that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Christine, I am showing Christine at CB Amelia is receiving all email notifications. So I could test it after if you want to after the call. I can call you. If you don't answer, I'll leave a voicemail and just make sure that you get that voicemail attachment.
Christine, there might be a way to do that extension thing. We'll look into that.
Lisa?
Can we get texting turned on for Kalkaska, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course. Paul, are you doing that or you want me to?
I'm looking at it right now.
Thank you. And there is some processing time. So sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes it's 7 to 10 days. So it just depends on the processing time. But once we get you registered for texting, you will have the ability to do so after it's processed. Christine, did you have another question?
Yeah, it was Kimberly that needed the emails, not me. I get my email. So
Okay, let me see.
yeah, right, Kim?
Yeah, that's correct. They
Okay,
just
so-
thought they confused you. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah, I think so, but
We
I
look
just didn't
so
want,
similar.
yes, and I really, and I wanted you to get your question answered, not mine, because
Thank
mine works. So, all right, take care.
Perfect. Kimberly, for commercial, you are getting Kimberly at premierproperties.com.
Okay, maybe Bob's just on it and answering every call before they go to voicemail. So
Yes,
that-
and that's a great point. So, and this is newer too with our new system. So once a number forwards to a third party or an external number, and this is good to know, especially for the weekends, for example, once any call that is going through the main number, if you have it set up to forward to Joe Schmo on the weekend or Bob Buckmaster, for example, after it's not answered at the office, or it's just a setting where all calls are forwarded to that person, unfortunately, that is where the voicemails are left. I know with our old system, some people were used to still getting a copy of them somehow, some way, but our reps assured us that that was not possible. Once a call goes through the system and it is routed outside of the system, those voicemails are left on that person's cell phone. So if Joe
That's-
Schmo is covering for
yeah.
the weekend and Joe Schmo is getting all the calls, Joe Schmo is going to get that voicemail left on his phone.
Okay,
because
that
it was
that must
forwarding-
be it then, because that must be what it is. That makes sense
Yeah.
because I've not gotten one, and that's unusual. So, okay.
Yep. And I think we talked about that with Bob. I think it's
I
just
think we
with,
forgot that.
yep. I hear you. Christine Sturgeon, do you have a question?
I do. Is there an option for like a phone tree after hours where the caller can have an option to either leave a general message on the office phone or press something else to get an agent who's maybe like the agent on call, like that forward? Do callers have an option?
I've seen it in the past. I just don't know how to set it up myself right now. I don't know if Kelly, if you're familiar with that, but I've seen it work in the past with Ring Central, so it should work. It's just a matter of figuring out the
It
details.
used to work on the old Ring Central because we had an agent on call for the month or the week, and then callers would have an option to press a button, press 1 for the agent on call, and it forwarded to their cell phone then.
Yeah, you would have to record, I think, the greeting message to say push 1 for that agent, I think. But
And then
You
press
have to set it up on the
2.
backside to have one do that task, right?
And then press 2. Christine, were you ever in a phone tree setting where you would manipulate that option to be a certain agent for the month? Is that what you're saying?
I did. Yep, on the old Ring Central.
Okay, I think that's doable. Yep, because then you would just go into the phone tree, which is so rare, and I don't know anybody else that goes into the phone tree settings, but you would set that up by month to go to Joe Schmo for the month of September, and then anytime anybody presses 2 for the on-call agent, it would go to Joe Schmo.
So is that under voicemail and notifications?
That is under a setting we would have to create separately, but we can definitely
Okay,
work on getting that set up for you and then trial and error it.
I would love to do that. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Making a note of it right now. Phone tree. All right. Are there any other questions or does anybody want to see anything specific in Ring Central? Lisa, did you have a question? I'm sorry. Lisa Ferrier, I think you have your hand up. But no, you're fine. Dawn, do you have a question?
I do. Is there a way when the phones ring and they go to our our iPads or a cell phone, that we can forward the call to an agent through this app?
Can you repeat the question? If it comes through a cell phone?
If it comes through, if Ring Central comes through to a cell phone or to the iPads, can we forward a call? Like if somebody calls into my office, can I forward it to an agent through that app?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If on the iPad, if you have the Ring Central app on there, which I'm pretty sure it's preloaded on all iPads, you can, if it's set to ring, if it's not ringing, let us know, and we can always enable it to ring like a desktop app does. It does have the ability in there to transfer. So then you would do transfer or pound, and then the agent extension, and it would still route it the same way.
Where is it on the phone app?
There's a transfer button. When you're in an active call, it should say transfer, and you can push that button, then enter the new number for the person.
Yep.
Now,
you
if-
won't see it unless you're in an active call. So I can't
Yeah.
show you, unfortunately.
I got
but if
you.
you're in a
Okay.
call-
Now, if calls go to a personal cell phone, you can't transfer anything. You have to be utilizing the Ring Central phone app, whether it be on a phone, an iPad. As long as you're using that app, you can transfer calls to anybody inside the directory or outside of the company.
Okay, so then to piggyback on that, say, I don't know all of the agents' extensions. So can I go up into the search tool, type in one of my agents, and then,
Yeah, you just type transfer, and then it will have a drop down, and you can just search for the agent and tap their name. And
perfect. Okay, thank you.
And I would highly suggest too playing around. And if you ever want any assistance with that, I'm always happy to partner up and trial something that you want for your offices. And it is really helpful. I understand using personal cell phones and, not wanting to give personal cell phones to agents. However, if you want to guinea pig and trial and troubleshoot your desk phone to see different things it can enable, I would highly suggest using your personal to call in and play around with it and see how it looks on the Ring Central desktop app or on your physical front desk phone, just so you can see how it comes in and goes out as. If you need an active call, or again, feel free to reach out to me. My extension is 616, or you can look up Kelly in the directory and you can find me that way too, or Paul, of course. Sue, I see that your texts are coming through direct and not call queue. It depends on how you were set up in your office. We're trying to make the main number the texting number. That way, if your main number needs any kind of authentication, like with Google or Darwin for authentication purposes, that text does come through. But maybe your direct line was registered to text and not the main number in those cases. As long as you're able to text, great. If you want us to change it, we can always delete one and make it your main number if we need to go that route. But that's probably why. Sarah, we can look into your registration status as far as not getting text. Are you able to send out, Sarah Kelly?
I don't normally use text. I just get them when agents have another agent or client texting in. I don't send text out. So
Okay, but you want to be able to receive?
I'll usually just forward the email to the agent that it belongs to.
Okay.
Okay, I just added Boyne City to the list for inbound texts.
Thank you. Oh, so fast. Michelle Cruz, so nobody will receive text by default. You do have to be registered. So if you haven't told Paul or myself that you want to be able to send and or receive text, your phone number is not automatically set up to receive or send out. So as far as receiving, we have two different options, which Paul just did. If you aren't going to text out and you want to just be able to receive text, we can set you up for what is called inbound texting, which we can set up for you on our end. But if you want to be able to send out to your agents or whomever, you do have to let us know so we can register you to be able to send out. However, if we don't hear anything, you're not set up to send or receive. But if that's okay with you, that's fine. I know not everybody uses it, depending on what you use for authentication, whether or not you use a cell phone for your 2FA, your CB desk and Darwin and so forth. You might not need that inbound text to the office. They are far and few between. If anything, I think it mostly is authentication related. Thank you, Paul, for getting Desiree's that. But that's probably why you're not getting any text, Michelle. Yep. And if you use your cell, that's fine. That's up to you. And Sue, lots of texts from people inquiring on listings, and it's consistent. I hope they're consistent. Are they viable leads, Sue Oakley? Do you have a mic, Sue? Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's really good to know. And then you can forward them out as you get those text notifications if you are set up to receive texts, and you can send those out for your agent that's on duty. That's awesome. Lisa, we'll get you set up to be able to send and receive. And Kimberly will also make sure that the commercial office can receive inbound text only, since you don't text out perfect. Thank you for letting us know. We do only have so many for each. So it's nice if you are not texting out, we'll set you up for inbound only. Good questions on texting. I know so many people are happy to have that feature back and the capability. Any other questions? Anything I can demo? Trisha, we'll get you set up for Marquette for texting, sending and receiving. Thank you. Maria, I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
That's okay. I may have asked this before. I just cannot remember. When I'm in the app here with the call queue management, right next to it, it automatically defaults to Fort Pierce sales and not my office. Is that okay?
We haven't seen a setting or a feature to be able to manipulate that. I don't know if it's dependent upon what office you were first made a call queue manager of. If you wanted, we could really, trial and error troubleshoot it and remove you from the other call queues, set you up with one, add the others, and then see if it defaults you differently if you prefer that way, or we can ask support. But I don't see a way to choose what defaults on your end.
Okay, so I would just change it when I go in, and I would just go to Satellite Beach manually.
Yes.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome. We can happily go through that, though, after the call if you'd like. Are there any other questions? I don't see any hands. Oh, Sarah, do you have? Nope. And Don, we'll get you the ability to. Oh, I'm sorry, Don. Do you want to give up your texting registration? Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, I don't use that. And if somebody else finds it more valuable than I do, if we're limited on that, yes, please go ahead and give that to someone else.
That's nice. Thank you. We're not at the threshold yet, so we're not panicking. But yes, if you'll never use it, then you don't really necessarily need to register.
3 empty seats. We're close.
Yeah, getting there. All right. Are there any other questions? Any last minute requests to demo anything specific in Ring Central? All right, feel free. I will say too, since our last training, we've had a couple, specialized one-on-ones that have been really beneficial, I think, and every office can be different, and I fully understand that. So if your office isn't functioning the way that it used to, as far as the calls coming in or being able to manage the custom rules or how it rings and the different steps in management of how it rings, feel free to reach out to Paul or myself, and we can work with you and see what your office scenario is, and we can set up a custom routing schedule for you and custom rules if we need to, depending upon your floor schedule, your after hours, and all of that. All right, well, if that's it for today, thank you so much for joining. Again, if you think of anything after the call, feel free to shoot me an email, shoot Paul an email, give us a call. And if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. We'll troubleshoot as we can, and we're all figuring it out together. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye now.
Bye.